Before we dive into today's video, let me say this first. If you keep applying for the jobs in the UK and you are not getting response from the employer, that doesn't mean your CV is weak. It's more about you did not position your CV well according to the UK job market. This is something many migrants did not understand properly or never been told to. Back home, your CV is more about providing experience to the employer, but in the UK, it's more about reducing hiring risk. This difference changes everything. Today, I'm not talking about the font or how what kind of a layout that you need to keep in your CV. That video we'll do it separately. But today, I'm going to talk about especially what employers are looking at and what you need to be change or explain differently in your CV. Remember, in the UK, your CV is not your full life story. I've seen many migrants explain about all their jobs that they have done from the day one, or else everything they have done on each role. That's not UK job market is expecting from you. Remember, your CV is not your life story. It's not a place to explain how hard you worked, or it's not a place to showcase your struggles. Your CV only has one job. That's just for the hiring managers to decide whether we need to interview this candidate or not. That's it. Many CVs scan just within 20 to 40 minutes at the first round of interview process or as the selecting process. So you need to uh, change your CV to the point and explain everything what they are looking for. So the question is not, am I qualified? It's more about, can this person do the job here with minimum risk, minimum guidance? The other important point is in the UK, hiring is based on risk mitigation. This I've talked in my previous videos as well. In the UK, hiring is more conservative. Employers are thinking whether this person can do the job, whether this person can adapt to the culture. Will they understand the system? Will they need heavy support from us? Last but not least, will they leave quickly? This is especially true for the regulated sector, public sector, or as professional sectors. So your CV must have answers these concerns without explaining them further. You do not convince by explaining, you convince them by positioning it correctly. The other important point is the positioning is starting with the job, not with your history. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past if you do know how to position it. So it's not about a history paper that explaining everything you've done. It's more about positioning according to the job. Migrants usually make these mistakes. They are always focusing about what they have done in the past. They never think about what really explained in the job advert or else what the hiring manager or the employers are expecting from you. This is clearly explaining in the job advert, but you don't read it properly. You just see the title, you just go through the advert and looking for the minimum qualification and decided your CV is good enough to apply it just because you've done everything. But you never worried about explaining it properly. You only worried about explaining what you've done in the past, which is not 100% relevant at this stage. In the UK, you need to build your CV around the role, not about you. Because of that, I would recommend you to write a new CV every time when you're applying for a new job. But applying for numerous number of jobs and being fed up of applying for these jobs, I've seen a lot of migrants using the same CV again and again into various jobs. That will not work, and you will never get a job by doing that. If you're lucky enough, yes, of course, you might be landed on an interview. So I would recommend you not to do that. Instead of that, focus or the write your CV to match with the job request or a job advert. Before writing your CV, you must ask, what are the problems that I have to solve in this job role? What skills are essential, not impressive? What experience are expected, not exceptional? Your CV should reflect alignment, not ambition. Relevance, not range. This is why people with 10, 15 years of experience get rejected and someone who has a couple of years experience gets selected. The other important point is about minimum requirement. This is not just an optional thing, it's the most important thing in that job advert. So you need to focus your CV around that minimum requirements. In the UK, minimum qualifications and skills are filters. If the job advert said you need particular level of NVQ requirement or a certain level of UK qualifications, that matters, which includes PVG, right to work, and all of those stuff as well. In the UK, recruiter does not think about, let's see whether this person is talented or he's capable to do the job. As I said at the beginning, it's more about reducing hiring risk. Because of that, they're clearly thinking who is meeting the minimum requirement where I can shortlist them and start interviewing process. Your CV must clearly show that you meet the minimum requirement without recruiter having search that information throughout your CV. If the qualification exists, it should be visible and easy to see. This is not about ego, it's more about compliance and efficiency. The other important point is results matters more than responsibilities. I've seen this among most of the migrant CVs that they mention that they've carried out these responsibilities and they're responsible for this number of financial budget, or they're responsible for this number of staff members and all of those stuff, or else number of projects. But they never talk about the results. In the UK, explaining about the results, showcasing about your results and everything matters. This is even matters during the interview phase as well. UK employers value outcome, impact, and decision making. So your long list of duties, responsibilities will not matter. So instead of just talking about I was responsible for HR operations, just try to explain what problems you've solved and what kind of results it came, and try to use applying STAR technique in your CV as well. So that gives you the competitive advantage. Remember, the other thing is you don't need to showcase big numbers, big jumps. Just you need to show them the signals that you've done these things, you've improved, and the results are there. The other important concern recruiters usually ask is, can this person work in the UK environment or else work with the UK systems? So your CV should quietly showcase that you are familiarized with the UK systems, exposure to UK shareholders, stakeholders, understanding the UK expectations as well. This does not mean you need 10 years of UK experience or anything like that. It's more about every role that you held in the UK, that you are demonstrating it in your CV. At the same time, if you don't have any experience in the UK, still fine. If you can show that you are ready to understand the UK work culture and you do have understanding about how system works and everything, that matters. So you need to show the transferability, adaptability, and clarity in your CV. You don't need to explain everything in detail, just translate it simply would enough. Many migrants get this wrong and assuming just because they don't have UK experience, they're not getting any interviews, opportunities, or anything like that. It is not. And the other thing is they're worrying about it's either discrimination or racism, which is actually not the reality. It's more about you are still not aware about how to positioning your CV according to the UK job market. Because of that, actually, most of the migrant CV, they're trying to impress, not to align. They try to explain instead of signaling it properly, and they overload their CV instead of clarity or the prioritizing what need to be prioritized. Once you understand this part, you will be able to position your CV properly and you'll be able to land in an interview. In this video, I want you to understand how the UK system works and how UK recruiting managers, hiring managers looking at your CV in a bigger picture. In my future videos, I'll talk about what are the common mistakes migrants making during their CV preparation period, why strong skills will get overlooked, and how to fix these issues without starting over. If these topics feels familiar and if these things are feels familiar to you, you are not alone. I went through the same pathway a couple of years ago and I learned by making mistakes. I just want you to not to do the same mistakes as I've done, or else to reduce your timeline to landing on a job that you are looking for, or you're capable of doing that, rather than doing on a job that you are not interested on or does not encourage you to do anymore. So stay tuned with us and we'll be doing more video series in the future as well, and I'm hoping to upload one video on every week, and I usually upload it on Mondays. So stay tuned, subscribe us, and wait for the next video. And we're talking more about the issues migrants are facing in the UK in job sector and how to overcome those issues. Thanks for joining with us.